Hey everyone, Felipe here. Welcome to another Tower of Saviors card review video. In this video, I'll be taking a look at the common cards from the Monster Strike collaboration series and their power release forms. And I will be letting you know whether I think these power release series is worth it or not, based on their leader skills and active skills, but more on their active skills since the common cards don't really have that great of a leader skill compared to top tier uh, meta leaders in the current game. So first of all, we're going to take a look at the Water Elf Enchanted Crystal Queen Margarite. Her leader skill is actually quite decent for a common card compared to her previous version, where her leader skill was only a 2.5 attack bonus for water members and a um, basically another times 3 attack bonus by dissolving the bottom row, and times 9 if it's the same leader and ally. Nowadays, with her new leader skill, she does have the 6.5, which is pretty standard for common cards. You also have a times 3 team attack bonus by dissolving all runestones in the bottom row, which is going to be the same. By dissolving all runestones in the column below Marguerite, your team attack increases by 2 additionally. So all in all, you do lose the times 9 attack multiplier from running dual leader and ally, but overall your damage output is going to be higher because your initial attack multiplier is going to be greater up here. Looking at her team skill, we do get the Monster Strike special, which is going to give you a better chunk of damage as well, and also a condition for Marguerite when you're running a mono Monster Strike team, which is by pulling a character runestones and dissolving them below a Monster Strike member, you do get different effects from each other. So overall, as a leader, I do think Marguerite is a little bit decent. Definitely worth using for early game and mid game stages, but for later game stages, you do lack the ability of breaking shields, and you don't really have a team skill that supports your leader skill, so you're relying entirely on your leader skill to beat stages, which at a higher level and at end game level, you are going to encounter a lot of annoying shields that definitely need utility to get broken, and Marguerite will be relying on her team members rather than her team skills. And in my opinion, a good leader should be able to break some shields by themselves so that you can free up team slots for better utility cards or to deal with more annoying enemies in the stage. So overall, I don't think Marguerite is going to be a end game leader, but definitely a good leader for early and mid game um, stages. Same thing with Arthur. Arthur is going to have a similar situation where she has the same leader skill in the past as Marguerite, just a light version. But now you do get another times 6 attack multiplier and times 5 attack multiplier by dissolving a group in a cross shape, which not bad, but she also lacks team skills to support her leader skill as well as shield breaking potential um, for those stages. So let's taking a look at Arthur right here. Uh, we do see that her team skill was the same as Marguerite, and definitely have a revamp. So for these two cards, these are um, two of the cards that got a leader skill. That Matt had put the leader skill in the GNN because these are going to be the more relevant common card leader skills. However, I do think they are not that great for end game content because of what I said before. Damage output might be there, but you don't have team skills to support them and also utility to support them as much as well. So now let's take a look at their active skills. Um, in the past, for Marguerite, her active skill was to turn the bottom row of runestones into water runes, and the 4 runestones in the column to the left into heart runes. This actually is unchanged, except now you do generate enchanted elf runes instead of just regular runestones. And you do have a 1.5 attack bonus additionally. CD4 is really fast, and that is going to be good for this skill. However, overall, I don't think this skill is that good. her phase 2 skill only increases your damage bonus by 1 round, which having to wait 3 extra rounds to just benefit from 1 extra round of 1.5 attack, definitely not worth it. So you would only use this card for the CD4 effect instead of the CD7 effect right here. But even the CD4 effect is a little bit um, not useless, but not worth using a team slot for it. Because if you see, um, you're not generating that many attacking runes, you're not breaking any shields, the damage increase is very small compared to other damage boosting cards, and you might as well free up that slot for more utility or for a better damage booster. So that's Marguerite, definitely not a card that I would recommend power releasing if you have it, because leader skill, she will fall out of the meta very soon, and her active skill is not that great either. Now let's take a look at Arthur. Her, let's see, let's pull up her old active skill. It was to turn light runes at a fixed position into light runes in the shape of a cross. Now we have tap a column and row to turn them into light runes or enchanted light runes, which is better in my opinion because it gives you more flexibility on choosing where you want the light runes to be generated, which allows you to save certain runes for quintet elemental shields or trio elemental shields and things like that. You also get a ×3 self-attack increase, and the character's damage will be dealt regardless of puzzle shield. This at CD5 is going to be really good in my opinion. Breaking puzzle shield at CD5 is going to be amazing. However, the only unfortunate part is that it is a self shield breaking, so only she can break puzzle shield. But given that you get a ×3 attack bonus, it is going to be pretty good and potentially allow you to kill enemies with annoying puzzle shields really easily, especially if you use character runes to give Arthur an extra attack, or if you use other damage boosters to increase Arthur's attack for those enemies. The phase 2 skill, you do have to wait 4 battle rounds, which is going to be pretty long and make this skill a CD9. However, you do get a very good upgrade where the light runes will be converted into enchanted human runes, which will give you a better damage bonus. Not that great, but it is something. But the real upgrade comes from this second part, where the first 10 runes to be dropped will be light runes, which is a good chunk of attacking runes. The character's attack increases by ×8 instead of by ×3, and this is huge. This is going to be a really huge chunk of damage, and you maintain the puzzle shield breaking potential. In my opinion, this is what you should use in order to break puzzle shields, because usually if the enemy has a very annoying puzzle shield, they also have equally annoying HP bars. So being able to increase your damage even further, it's going to give you a better chance at killing them in one shot, ignoring their puzzle shields. Especially if you drag a Arthur's character rune and dissolve it, you get 2 attacks at ×8, and that is going to be huge. So in my opinion, this is a really good active skill, and I would put it up there. Well, actually, we'll rank the power release skills after we're done with this video, um, and I will rank the order in which I would recommend for you to power release them. Next, we have True Flame Goddess Agnamut. Let's see. Here. In the past, the skill was if 4 combos are made, the monster launches an extra ×6 fire attack for 1 round, and for every extra combo made, the attack multiplier increases by +2 to additional of +10 or ×10 for 6 combos. And this, it was not a bad skill. It's a really good self-attack increase and definitely a really good burst option. So now let's take a look at her power release form. For 1 round, Black Hole will be nullified. Modify the runestones touch while moving to become God runes. Character launches an extra attack of ×6, and the character's damage will be dealt regardless of defense. So for her phase 1, CD6 is going to be really good. Black Hole will be nullified. This is going to be the first card, in my knowledge, that nullifies black holes. So just because of this, this is going to be really good and definitely worth getting in your team, because there aren't any other cards in the game right now that can nullify black holes. Although black holes are going to be situational, but there will come a time that Mad Hit will give you an annoying enemy, and then you will appreciate having this card in your inventory. For the phase 2, this is going to be a CD9 skill. Turn all runestones into enchanted runes. Black hole will be nullified. Moving runes will become god runes, and character launches an extra attack of times 10, and character damage will be dealt regardless of defense and initial shield. So in my opinion, these two skills are really good. You do lose out on the times 10 attack multiplier on the phase 1 skill. However, you do regain it back here um, in the phase 2 skill at CD9, which in my opinion is actually a really good CD9 skill because you ignore black hole, you ignore god runestone, or you create god runestones. Your self attack increases by 10 times instead of 6 times, which is a decent amount, and you also ignore initial shield and defense, which are allow you to break those annoying enemy skills and also provide more utility to your team. So definitely a good skill to have as well. CD6 for phase 1 is not bad. CD9, that's pretty standard for Monster Strike. Also, Agnamud has a another team skill that if you dissolve the character runestone before her, she will launch 6 extra attacks as much as 30% of its attack to the enemy that has the lower HP, which, if you triggered her times 10 attack bonus, it's going to be a really good chunk of damage. Oh yeah, now let's go take a look at the Earth Elf Teeny, Sprite Creator Guardian Teeny. This is going to be a CD5 skill for phase 1. In the past, it used to be a very slight Earth attack bonus of times 2 and a small 30 times snipe, um, and also at CD5. However, for his new skill, he gets a bigger snipe of 1,200 times the character's attack value to um, as direct damage. So basically 2 snipes, one of dark and one earth. And also increases the earth members, elf members, and monster strike members attack and recovery by 2. So overall, his skill remains a little bit the same. Attack bonus and also snipe. Which honestly, his snipe will... In my opinion, snipers are only good to remove stealth shields. So it doesn't really matter what the multiplier is, really. Because enemies right now have so big HP bars that it doesn't really matter what you snipe them with, and it only matters that you remove the stealth shield. So in my opinion, having a sniper and an attack bonus is going to be nice because you break the stealth shield and also you increase your damage output to deal with these enemies. So Teeny has a good skill overall. However, now let's take a look at his phase 2 skill, which is going to be a CD8 skill. The snipe goes up in value to 1800 or 1800 times the character's attack. Again, same thing. However, this time you do get rid of fixed combo shield, which is going to be a nice shield to ignore. So if the enemy has low HP with a fixed combo shield, you might be able to defeat it with this snipe as well. And the damage bonus increases as well from 2 to 2.2. So in my opinion, Teeny's active skill is not bad, but also doesn't provide as much utility. The only utility that I can see is dealing with stealth enemies, because you do need to remove the stealth, and also this gives you an attack bonus to deal with those enemies afterwards. So yeah, now let's take a look at Black Rose Harley, which is going to be the last, no, not the last, the second to last common card from the Power Release Monster Strike series. And let me tell you, this skill, CD7 for this skill is absolutely amazing. By tapping an attribute on the magic circle of enemy, turn the enemy into the attribute of the selected attribute, and increase dark damage dealt to enemies of that attribute. In the past, her active skill was to just turn enemies into light attribute and increase your dark damage on light enemies for 1 round. The reason why this is so good is because Madhead has been introducing a lot of puzzle shields with combo nullifying skills as well. So for example, a monster has a puzzle shield that has to be broken with its own attribute, but they also have a combo nullifying skill of that attribute. For example, if you have Harley, which is a dark type, you have a puzzle shield that requires dark runes, but she also has a skill that prevents you from dissolving dark runes in the first batch. So the only ways to deal with that is to break puzzle shield using a puzzle shield ignore monster, or by changing the enemy's attribute to something else. By doing this, you can actually choose what attribute you want to use. The downfall with other skills is that, for example, you change the attribute to Earth. If you don't have enough Earth runes to break their shield, that means you still can't break their shield. However, with Harley, you can choose what attribute to change the enemy to, and you can also use those attribute runes to break those shields. Also, you can also increase dark damage on that attribute, but if you also have a self attack or a burst option of certain attribute, for example, let's say we have uh, Agnamut with a times 10 attack bonus, you can change the enemy to Earth attribute, and then Agnamut is going to deal super effective damage against them, and this also is going to increase your damage output. So in my opinion, this skill itself is going to be really, really good. Dark Demon is also an excellent combination. We have Baal, we have Ingzhen. Uh, if we ever get power release Ingzhen, um, then this is going to be a really good member for him. So definitely a good member to have in your inventory just from this phase 1 skill. Now let's take a look at the phase 2 skill. It's basically the same thing. However, you get 2 rounds of attribute alteration, and you also get an extra dark attack of 5 times your own attack for Black Rose Harley, which is a bonus effect, but I'd say this first effect is already pretty good and definitely worth getting in your inventory just for that. But yeah, team skills, pretty good as well. And now we come to the last common card of the Monster Strike Power Release series. And we're going to see Yggdrasil, World Tree of Tranquility, which is a Earth Elf. Her old skill was to um, allow every single member to launch a non-attributive um, extra attack and ignore attribute relationships when you launch your attacks. This still stays the same. Each member launches an extra non-attributive attack, and damage will be dealt regardless of attribute relation, but this time you also get an effect clear, as well as you are able to dissolve runestones by aligning 2 or more of them in the first batch. Clearing additional effects is really nice. CD7, not the fastest, but definitely a good ability to have, definitely a good skill to have, especially if you encounter Thorny Path or Recovery to Zero or permanent debuffs. This could be a really good card to use to get rid of those negative effects. And also by dissolving 2 or more of runes, by assigning by removing runes in groups of 2 or more, that is also going to increase your combo count and also generate more damage output for you. And if you're running a Lucifer team, this also increases the number of groups of runestones that you're dissolving, which will also increase the number of heart runes dropped and also increase your damage output. For the phase 2 skill, this is going to be a CD9. Same thing, clear additional effects, increase dissolve runestones in groups of 2 for the first batch. Each member launches an extra non-attributive attack, but the thing that changes is that all damage can overpower enemies, which means that all damage will be super effective damage, and this is usually a 1.5 attack increase on that. So definitely a good phase 2 effect, but I think the phase 1 is good enough as is. CD7, if you have the luxury of waiting 2 extra rounds, go for it, but if you don't, you can still stay with the CD7 skill and be fine as well. So overall, a pretty solid skill as well. However, let's see. Now that we're done with these, seeing their cards, what is the order I recommend for you to power release these cards? If you decide you want to power release all of them, I would say start with Lucy, if you have Lucy, or start with Lucifer, because she does benefit a lot from running a mono monster strike team, because all of them have special effects when you pull the character rune. So definitely start with Lucifer. I didn't review her because she is the jackpot card, and a little bit obvious that you might want to power release her first. Then I would suggest for you to power release Black Rose Harley, which is going to be a really good addition for your teams. And also, this card, I predict, has a lot of utility in the future, especially with Dark Demon teams being a really good attribute combination to have. Like we have Inton, we have Baal. Demon teams will definitely like to have Harley in their team, so this is a card that will most likely see a lot of play in the future as well. So I would recommend power releasing her first, then going for Agnamut, because you get some utility that there's no other card in the game that can nullify it. So definitely worth having in your inventory. Then I would say Arthur because of the puzzle shield breaking potential. Then I would say power release Yggdrasil because of the effect clearing active skill. And then after that we have Teeny and Margarite. Teeny is better than Margarite because he can still do something basically. You can still break stealth shields, while Margarite honestly doesn't really see much use, or I don't see any potential use for it, while all other power release cards have something going for them. So my order is going to be Harley, Agnamut, Arthur, Yggdrasil, Teeny, and then Marguerite. And that is my recommendation in terms of the order of power releasing the common cards, if you are to decide to power release them. But if you want to save your resources, I would say just power release Harley, power release Agnamut, and save these copies in the future when you have more resources. If you need them, power release them. If not, just leave them in your inventory and power release them at a later date. But yeah, that is all I wanted to say about this card. This is a really long video, so thank you for sticking all the way to the end with me. And as always, let me know in the comments below if I said anything wrong or if I missed anything about these active skills. But as always, stay tuned on my YouTube channel for more Tower of Saviors content. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.